All right. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the final. This is the final step in doing these trick or treat baskets. We're going to paint them. Right now, let's see. Linda's here and ready to go. Let me know if you can hear me talking, and let me know if you can see everything. From my view, it doesn't look like anybody's really here yet. So, let me know. We're going to hang out until everybody seems to join. We get some more people in here, and then we'll get to rolling. Hello, Kim. How are you? Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me or not. I always need to make sure of that. And then let's see. Is that? Yeah, no. Okay. Very good. Awesome. Awesome. I hope everybody that's here tonight is I'm doing good. Thank you. Kind of a long day at work and finally got back around home to get this stuff going on. So, been a fast day. Field Walker Mask, hello, hello. Awesome from Scotland. What's up? Everybody, we're going to wait just a little bit longer still. We got 3 or 4 of us now. I know there's a few that are ready to paint. They've sent me um, progress pictures, and I want to actually thank everybody who has sent me progress pictures. Everything looks great, guys. I love it all. I'm going to, it should be a fun video to kind of put together to show the stuff that you guys have done, just versus videos on crap that I built all the time. Someone else sent me a email the other day. It was pretty interesting. They had found something their kids have been working on and never finished up, and they took it and salvaged it and turned it into a basket. And I think they did a great job. They're not. I think it's great. So I think it's a great story too. Lupin, what's up? We got more rolling in. We got 5 watching now. Who's got a drill ready to go tonight? In that first email, and I know this week I should have sent you guys more info, but I failed on that. It's been a crazy week. All we're going to need to drill for is first thing we're going to do. We need to drill our holes in this for our jute twine handle. The handle's the last thing we're going to do, but we're going to drill the holes first. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Last thing we're going to do, we're going to drill the holes first. Drill the holes first, that way we can paint inside there. Looping. Right on. Oh, it's a bummer that it got damaged. What happened to it? But you're putting clay on one now tonight. All right, cool. Now we got 8. Hello, everybody. I'm just giving a little bit of time for everybody to join up that's actually been following along and building along. That way we can all start painting at the same time. And I'm back to one camera again. And we're going to use one camera for now. It beats it diving out all the time on me. 9 people in. Hello. 9 people in, 3 people talking. Come on, people. Let me know you're here. Yeah, I'm glad you can hear me loud and clear, and I'm pretty loud. I got a pretty bad lag time. All right, all right. We're going to go ahead and get rolling. You're right, looping one camera's better than no camera, that's for sure. But I would rather have 2 cameras. I want to get that set up going on. I like to have a couple cameras and make this whole thing way easier. So one of these days, we're going to get there. We're going to get there one of these days. First thing we're going to do is put some holes in this. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. And hopefully I've got a good drill bit, or the right size drill bit. Oh man, I got one missing out of my kit, but I think this will work, because that's going to be too mesh, just too big there. I'm going to use what looks like a 3/16 drill bit, but it all depends on the size of jute twine you're using. Mine's pretty thick, so really a 13/64 would have been better for me, or maybe even a 7/32. But I'll be able to twist this down at the end tighter to shove it through. So I'm going to go ahead and get this done. We'll get these holes drilled into here, and then we're going to move on to paint. With these things being raw, our first base layer should dry relatively quick. I debated getting a hold of everybody and telling them to go ahead and put their base layer on like last night, so it's ready to go, because we're going to base it out in black. But if you're using an acrylic paint, it should absorb pretty quick and dry to the touch pretty fast. If you guys got a hair dryer or whatever, go ahead and grab that and use that tonight. That way, we put the base layer on, you can take a hair dryer and kind of dry that stuff out. I'm going to do my heat gun here, and then when we do the white layer, we'll do the same thing. So let me change this camera angle so you guys can get off and not see me anymore. And I'll move you to the project, and I'll turn this light on too, so we have a little bit more. Oh, look, there's something back there in the background that's being made. You guys just have to wait for that video to come out. Okay. So that last time we were here, I put a little indentation in there while the clay was wet. Did the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to drill holes right in that little indentation. And I'm going to mute the microphone real quick so this isn't super loud. Man, there we go. Step one already done. The paint job we're going to do tonight is super easy. It's a pretty quick and effective paint job. It's still going to give you some depth. Does not take nearly as long as doing the whole build up on doing a gradient. This is pretty quick. First thing we're going to do is base this in black. Then I'm going to hit this and dry it out. I'm going to go ahead and paint the inside as well. All my other ones, I left the inside black too. So we're going to base this out in black. Then we're going to do a dry brush in white around the whole thing. We're going to dry that out real quick, and then we're going to do an orange wash over the top of that. That's really all the paint we're going to do. Once you see it go together with the wash going over the dry brush and stuff, it picks up the orange color. Get some depth to it. Looks pretty good. It's just kind of a quick, fast way to paint a pumpkin. I've used it quite a few times. I like it. But then again, for your guys' taste, if you want to go even further, you could do what we do tonight and spray some clear coat over it, and then come back and do another wash on top of it, maybe some black or whatever. So, you even get inside here a little bit darker, that type of thing. All kinds of different things you can do. But for purposes tonight, this is the super fast, easy, quick way to make a pumpkin. My first layer is not going to be acrylic black because I'm running low on it. And what I do have is some exterior latex black paint. That's what I'm going to use. This is normally what I base all my projects that are going to go outside in the yard for Halloween. To me, okay, I'm back. That was awesome. Disappeared, back. I'm really gonna have to do something different with this computer and yeah, and my internet speed. So I have to figure that one out. We didn't have problems last week, and now I'm having problems. Anyway, what I was saying was I generally don't worry about waterproofing these too much because it's trick or treat basket. You guys, kids will be walking around with them. They're not gonna be sitting out in the rain. And then the ones that I still have laying around the house here, they're used more as an indoor decoration anyway. I don't put them outside. So, I mean, I guess I could make a trick or treater one day and then put one of these in his hands. That'd be kind of cool. Well, let's hope this doesn't drop out again. I apologize. I may have to move my router down here. I don't know if I'd be able to do that or not, though. That's the problem. I don't have cable coming in down here. All right, right on. So we got 11. We got 11 people in here. I know I've got Lupin in. Hey, Oddities is here. Awesome. What's up? How are you? So Lupin's here. Oddities here. Linda is here. Phil Walker Mast is here. Kim is here. So what? That's four. Four of you guys that I know. I got 9 of you watching. I know more of you guys have been working on this project because I got way more than just 4 people who sent me progress pictures. What's up, Keith? Keith is here. Hey, man, that little dead alien voodoo doll person deal you were working on the other day, that thing looked really cool, man. I liked it. That turned out cool. I like that sculpt. Looked good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. Grab a booster or something because I can't have this happening all the time, and I can't exactly just move uh, this upstairs either. One of these days, man. One of these days, maybe I can get the garage or something cleaned out good and have enough space to dedicate and make a new studio and do some other cool things. That would be awesome. I run out of room down here. Ceiling's pretty short. I mean, this little room is like barely 7 foot tall ceiling heights, and the room itself is like what 12 wide by 12. It's basically about just a 12 by 12 room, if that. Maybe less than. Maybe it's more like 12 by 9. It's not very big. Dude, Keith, I do that a lot though, man. I mean, I understand how that goes. There's a lot of projects I've started. God, you get to work on it. I mean, there's a lot that midway through, I'm like, I really hate this, or I don't even want to. I don't even want to finish it. And then Carrie or somebody will just be like, just finish it out. You kind of go through these, and then finally get to the end, and it all comes together, and it's like, okay, yep, I'm glad I kept going. Hey, Charismatic. Hey, how are you? Yes, it's paint time. I hope you're ready to paint. I hope everybody here is ready to paint. Oh, we need to start having some discussions on this. This is the final class on this. So I've got, it's funny, one of my daughter's friends watches all the time. She's awesome. She's a big fan of the show, and she enjoys this stuff. She was over the other day and we were talking about this. So trying to figure out what we should do for the next class. Uh, I want to try to the first few classes not bite off on something real big and tough, just in case whoever is actually doing this is still on the beginner side of mache and things like that. But I would like to make something a little more challenging. I mean, versus just doing. At one point in time, I was going to do another class on making a pumpkin with clay. Uh, but man, if you watch this and how we did the clay, the only thing I was going to do was show you how I just sculpted out in one day and moved some things around, and basically this covered that because you can take the same techniques we did with the clay and just make a full pumpkin instead of this little bitty guy. And I was thinking in my head, because I don't think it'd be too difficult. 4 or 5 years ago, no, maybe 3 years ago. Maybe longer. I made a spider pumpkin, and I was thinking the other day that that might be a fun thing to do. We could do some small. That one I made was really big, so we could make some smaller spider pumpkins. I thought that could be a cool class for the next class. Um, just curious on your guys' thoughts that are actually following along and building. Because I definitely need a few more smaller spider pumpkins in my haunt for next year. That way, there's some littler ones to go along with the big one that's out there. Mm-hmm. For the hurricane, man, I missed some stuff. Oh yeah, that's right. Dave got caught up in all that hurricanes. Oh, I forgot all about that. I remember he was posting pictures of that stuff. I forgot all about that. Yeah, I've seen some bad contractors out there too, Keith, for sure. For show, for show. What is on the bottom of that already? Just working in the mouth here before I move on to the inside. Trying to make sure. Here's the thing. You guys probably noticed it too. I'll paint a base of black, especially with mache, and it looks like I've got it all covered until I turn it and turn it over and look at it from a different angle and realize I missed a bunch of spots. Get in there. All right, let's dry this thing up just a bit and move to the inside. Oh yeah, dude. Uh, Insurance companies want to fight everything. The last deal I had here, of course, it wasn't a hurricane thing at all. But whenever I had all that sewer damage and everything else, yeah, insurance companies were almost worthless. I'm going to hit this real quick. We're going to warm this up, kind of dry this paint out. I'm going to mute you. Woo, boo. I'm going to mute this so you guys don't have to listen to it. Boom, and we're back. And we're back. That should be dry enough that I can go ahead and paint the inside. Hopefully, yeah, pretty close. Good enough. We're going to paint this inside. Now, in all honesty, unless I was like in a super hurry, like I kind of am tonight, doing this paint, I would base this thing out in black and then just let it set for a night and come back and do the rest of it. But you can force it along too with a hair dryer or a heat gun. Either one will work. Mm-hmm. And let's go. Let's see if I can find one of these. Let me show you. I don't think, maybe you did, Linda. I don't think you did. I muted it so whenever I went to dry it, you guys wouldn't have to listen to it. But it looks like I'm rolling. From my end, it looks like I'm rolling. I don't know. You guys tell me. Let's see. Yeah, Carrie, that's correct. If this was a pumpkin, a jack-o'-lantern, I would paint the inside white. I would not paint it black. The black will absorb the light. So if I wanted to, anything that I'm going to do that I'm going to put a light in or whatever, I always paint the inside white or some other bright color. But since this is going to be supposed to be a trick-or-treat basket that someone would just, you know, put their candy in or whatever, I just do the insides black. I did them on all the other ones. Also, a little deal I've done is some of these cheaper paintbrushes I've had. I've cut the handles off of them. That way, even on painting a pumpkin, I'm painting it white, and when you're on the inside and along those bottom edges, this makes a nice short little paintbrush where you can get in and you don't have it, you know, stabbing your pumpkin on the other side. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I really do hope everybody had a good week, had a good weekend. Anybody that was impacted by any of the weather lately, from any of the hurricanes to any of this crazy ice storms or anything else, I hope you guys got through all that stuff unscathed. I know there's a lot of crazy weather going on at the moment. We've been lucky enough here not to get anything crazy lately. The last bit of ice or whatever that just came through last week or whatever, we just got a little bit of sleet and stuff. It didn't really amount to anything, which was kind of nice. Yeah, Lupin, you totally could do a snowman like this. And I get that same thing from different people too. They're like, "Oh, you make us Halloween stuff," and I'm like, "Oh, I like Halloween." But I've made some Christmassy stuff. I haven't filmed everything Christmassy I've made, but I've made Christmassy stuff for other people around here. I like Christmas too, just as much as I like Halloween, but I think it's a lot more fun to make Halloween stuff. That's the only thing that's rough with the channel is YouTube likes to just not promote the channel until Halloween time hits. They're not realizing that if you're going to do this stuff, you got to work all year round, get everything made in time for Halloween. See, now I'm looking at this and there's a bunch of little spots that I missed the first go around. So right now I'm just kind of going back over, looking for those spots. I don't want a lot of white spots. I mean, once we do a wash on it, it wouldn't be a real big deal, but I really want to get as much black in all those areas as I can before we move on to other things. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that's pretty good. That looks pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, I'm going to move over here real quick. I want to let this dry up a bit more. I want it to get a little more dry before we go doing any kind of dry brushing on it. So I'm just going to talk to you guys for a little bit. Let's see what's going on over in chat. Laura says Halloween's their favorite time. Mine too. Charismatic, you would build a definitely appreciate a build along with what? A spider pumpkin? Hey Bree. Let me move back up. Thank you, Lindsay. Hopefully the ones you guys are building along are coming along just as well. I know some of them are because I've seen some updates you guys have sent me and they all are looking great. Yeah, that's awesome. 73-degree weather. We had 60, it was like 61, 62 today. It was awesome. I had a project on my real job that I'm trying to get rid of. But anyway, whatever. So it was nice though today because I was outside for most of the day and the weather was wonderful, except the wind. The wind's blowing here in Kansas like freaking 50 and 60 mile an hour gusts all day long. That was the real setback. Favorite horror movie would have to be. Let me think about that for a minute. I can't even. Oh, I do remember the name of it. There's this movie that came out, and I don't really know how popular it was. And oh man, it was a while back, probably 10, 12 years ago, something like that. It's called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Super cool. It wasn't like super scary, but it's all about it's like it's a different twist on the Tooth Fairy. So in that movie, the Tooth Fairy's people were like actually evil, and they would eat children or eat their bones. And then something about grandparents back in the day or whoever it was made some kind of deal that if they would give them the teeth when the kids lost their teeth, that they wouldn't attack and eat the children type of thing. And these little things are pretty wicked looking. That show was really cool. It was a lot of fun. It was super neat, and I liked the idea of it, and it was creepy, and it reminded me of being a kid and being afraid of stupid things in the dark in your closet or whatever. So it was a neat movie. I liked it. Yeah, it's cool. It's called "Don't Be Afraid of the Dark" is the name of it, and that's I don't know if you can find it. Like, you might be able to find it on Amazon or something like that. Uh, I've seen it a couple different times, but I'd like to buy it to have it so. Hellboy, the Hellboy, right? Yep. Yeah, something along those lines, Lupin. I can't remember. It was something that they would attack or whatever, and then the people made a deal with them that if they put them under the pillow, they'd come get them or whatever. And then this big Victorian style home, had been like empty for a long time. I can't remember if the family bought it or if it was like um, they got it in an estate or something. I can't remember how it was, but anyway, the family moves in there. And then down in the basement, there was like a boiler type of thing or something where these creatures have become dormant for a long time. And a little girl goes down in there and opens some stuff up and wakes them up. And then these things are like, they're small, they're little, they're like running through the walls and stuff. And it was cool. It was an awesome show. Mm-hmm. 28 degrees is cold. Thank goodness it's not that cold right now. All right, I'm going to mute this again and I'm going to hit this with a heat gun one more time so I can speed this up a little bit quicker. Hang tight. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll watch the chat while I'm drying this off. Yeah, right on. And in Kansas too. Yeah, I'll give you even a better one. Our weather, we're supposed to be nice for like next week, like 40s and 60-degree weather, which is freaking wonderful. All right, that's speeding some things up. I'm now going to let it cool down just a little bit so it dries out a little bit more. And we're going to add some white. We're going to do some white. This is not primer. This is just cheap acrylic paint. It will work. But if you have a white primer for this, or even if you're going to do this type of paint on a big jack-o'-lantern, um, I would go with primer because when you do this wash, that primer really picks up the wash paint way better than this does. But this will still work. Primer just works better. So, just a quick little tip right there. 10 people still here. Just so you know, hey, I've got a friend of mine. who is like an artist, right? And he started talking to me about gesso, and I've never tried to use it, so I don't know. And I think I'm going to try. So I'm going to hit him up because he was talking. We were talking one night, and he was really talking about it. It seemed like I could really use it for different things. And he does a real neat art form technique. I can't remember what it's called, but like like it's like a painting or whatever. He's got like a canvas or whatnot, and then he melts wax, and then makes paintings with melted wax and all this. So he'll do all these different colors first. It's all kind of melted on, and he carves out. I don't know, like he's going to make flowers or whatever and things like that, and then goes back in with melted different colored wax and lays all that stuff in. It's really neat. It's really cool. And then when it's all done, you wipe on it and stuff, and it becomes shiny, which is real neat. And it's funny because it's what he says. It's the only kind of art that you want people to touch your artwork because the more they touch it, the shinier it gets. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun, but it's a big mess too. He's got a nice little studio that he uses, but there's just wax all over. Colored wax is just all over everything and everywhere. Uh, but man, he does a cool job with it. It looks really, really good. He came from. He used to live in San Diego, California, something like that, and I guess he did some big art stuff down there. Uh, and then he moved to this little town here in Kansas. But yeah, they are. And I guess he does some art shows over in Springfield, which isn't too far from us. It's a bigger town between here and St. Louis. But man, it's really cool. It's neat stuff. It's neat stuff. All right, this is dry enough. I'm going to dry brush this white all over it. So let's reposition your camera. Let's move you guys back over here and down. Here we go. Oh, there's them chicken legs are back there. So yeah. Anyhow, let's get moving. Man, it's been forever. It feels like since I even painted like this. Now, this used to be how I did all my stuff. Oh, that was a little heavy. Probably should have started. Boy, can you guys hear me breathing? Holy cow. Seems awful heavy. But doing that dry brush really brings out a lot of stuff. There's not a whole lot of texture on this little pumpkin. He's rather smooth. But it's still bringing out some of that texture. Oh, I had someone who I was talking to too. They were trying to get a real smooth texture, which you can. But then if you're going to paint like this and you've got a super smooth texture, you'll lose some effect that way. All right. Man, I don't know. I would say paper clay would be, but I think they would wind up eating it. There is there's another kind of homemade clay stuff that I'm going to play with. I haven't done it yet, and I've seen a lot of different recipes on it on YouTube. I'm going to give it some testing, and of course, I'll probably try to change it up some. But They call it Crete clay. And it's really, from everything I've seen, it's basically along the lines of, it's made a lot in the same ways as paper clay, but you're using concrete in it. And for what you're talking about, if it worked good and held up and it holds up like concrete when it's all done, I think that would work. Don't think they'd be able to eat it. I think it would hold up to moisture and stuff like that. Well, good. I'd rather you hear the brush instead of my breathing, because I'm breathing about the way my belly looks. This is such an easy, I mean, super fast and easy way to, because technically I could just go ahead and say, let's throw some orange on this. But I'm just kind of nitpicking a little bit, trying to make it just a little bit lighter on some of these raised areas. Because whatever is lighter, it's going to show up more orange. And that, man, that really shows up like it's all super white. It's not quite as white as what that camera is showing in real life, right in front of me. But that's just about ready to go. And we might even, I don't know, I might do some yellow highlights once it's all done. I mean, that's it too. I've been asked before, when do you know when to stop? And I kind of suffer from that problem sometimes, because I could just keep going and going. Let's just add a little, just a little more right there, just right. That'll work for the face. That's what people are going to be seeing most of the time anyway, is that. Occasionally from the back, but they're going to see this the most. So that is done. Now we're going to make a wash with some orange paint, but I am going to hit this again real quick with the heat gun. Let this dry out a little bit more, and then we're going to do a wash over the top of it. So I'm going to go silent mode again. Hey, wait a minute. Lindsay, hey, Jay, it's 1:45 a.m. Holy cow, in England. That's some commitment, Lindsay, is all I got to say. It's almost 2 o'clock and you can't sleep and you're watching. That's awesome. Tropical species, humidity, and it keeps surrender can help clean up. Yeah. So, yeah, so the paper clay would definitely degrade and those guys would definitely probably start eating that. Yeah, the Crete clay thing, I think, is the way to go. And I'm going to play around with some of that stuff too, come up with some recipes, because I think it could be fun to do as well. And I want to introduce people who follow me to that type of stuff as well. So yeah, just look up, like, I think it was just Crete clay. Look that up, and there's I saw like 4 or 5 different ways it can be done. Some of them I really wasn't super. I didn't really think the recipes looked that great, and then some of them I really thought it was a pretty good concept. So, but if you can use it and it will sculpt kind of like this stuff, and it acts kind of like this or like the wood clay. Um, it worked. Now the wood clay, dude, that I did that recipe, man, that will hold up in humidity and everything else. The one pumpkin that I made a big pumpkin out of that wood clay, and that thing's freaking nuts. It never gets soft. It never does. It's just amazing. But then again, I don't know if those guys would start chewing on it after time because I don't know if they chew on sticks or whatever and stuff in there or not. So they might do that. And the wood clay's got the wood glue and all that other junk in it. So if they started chewing on that junk, it probably wouldn't be good for them at all. So maybe that's not the way to go. I mean, the goal is, I'm sure, to keep them alive. Hang tight. We're going to mute this again. And we're back. Woo! Boy, that's hot. Now I'm gonna let this cool down a little bit before we do any wash over that. And look at that. I mean, we're 53 minutes into this thing. The paint job's basically going to be done because we're going to wash it in orange and it's going to be done. And on camera, see how thick this white looks in here? I probably went a little too heavy. I probably shouldn't have gone that heavy. Um, the more kind of the black spots that you can kind of leave when you're dry brushing this that poke out, the more, I want to say, the more depth that it creates whenever you're doing your orange wash over the top of it. So you don't have to go quite as heavy. But I see, I'm pretty sure I even painted this one back here. Not the same technique. Yeah, I did. So this one isn't, this one wasn't painted in the big highlight deal. I don't know if this will, you can kind of see the, well, I can't see what you can kind of see the black poking through there. This one could have been a little bit lighter too. But I mean, even this, the paint doesn't look bad on this thing, and it's literally just this. This is such a fast way to paint in that depth, and then whatever. If you want these to be, focus. Hello. If you want these to be darker in here, then you can add more stuff to it and make it darker. Hell, focus. Hello. And back. There we go. That looks better. All right, let's set this on top of something. So it's not just, and let's do it on top of this because I don't want this to get wet. And literally all I'm going to do is take a little cup. We're going to add some orange paint to this and some water. I'm really going to water this down for the wash. And what happens with washes like this, at first they may seem kind of overwhelming, but when they dry up, they seem to lose their tint. So after it kind of dries up, you might have to hit it again. just all really depends on how it winds up looking once it's dry. And I used to do this so much that I used to have a little paintball already like set up with a really thinned out orange in it. So I didn't have to sit here and do this junk all the time. But I've gotten away from painting my pumpkins with washes. Or at least with the orange wash anyway. I've done some black and brown washes over the top of them. Antique them in a way or whatever, if that's what you want to call it. A little more. I'm afraid I'm going to make it too thin. Oh, it's been forever since I've done this. This may be too thin. Here everybody is watching me do this, try to learn, and then these are things that I've done, but I've done them so far in the past that I'm out of practice. Yeah, Lupin is pretty close to 50-50. Yeah, I'm not sure if the paint would taste good or not. Maybe. But I'm not going there. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Let's hope I got all this paint out of this brush. And there we go. Super easy. I'm just going to paint all over everything we just did with this orange. If it gets down inside your eyes and mouth, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. After that stuff dries up, we go back in there and hit that with some more black paint and darken it right back up again. So that's not a big deal. This is an easy, sloppy paint job. But it does work. The white undertone should make the orange brighter, and then everything that's got the black base below it should dry darker. You know, that type of easy thing. But I'm afraid I went a little too thin, so you might not want to go 50-50. You know, maybe a quarter and 50. Let's hit this with a heat gun. Okay, he's starting to come along pretty good. I'm going to go ahead, and if you had earphones in and I turned that on and it was loud, I apologize. I probably talked too loud in the first place. I'm going to go ahead and hit some of these just kind of ridges in here again with the orange to bulk that out a little bit more. We are going to come back in and paint these black. I may even do a little black wash down these cracks or the whatever, the the bottom sides of the pumpkin shape, just to bring them out a smooch more. But it doesn't look too bad. And I mean, see, this is super easy, right? This is such an easy way to do this. I think I'm going to do a smaller brush this time, though, just to have a wee little bit more control with this. So I just grabbed a smaller brush just so I could contain this wash a little bit to some of these higher areas. Just because I'm getting picky, I used to just slap this on and leave and go away. But whatever. I mean, if a live class isn't 3 hours long, then what are we doing? You know? But yes, this is such an easy way to paint. And for those people, especially for those who say they can't paint, um, do this. This is so easy, and it'll always give you a cool result. Even if you're like trying to paint a witch's face or anything else, if you do this whole black and then dry brush white over the top of it and then come back through and put your color over the top, it will always, especially to your eye and not just on the camera, it will always look like it's got all this depth to it. It makes a lot of interesting stuff. And it's super easy to do. Sorry if I pulled that out of the camera a bit. Out of these. Really? It fell off? That's a bummer. Did you put oh my goodness. Did you put paste? Did you brush paste on it first to help try to give it some bite? I think I said that in the class. I might not have. I thought I did. I know I did it. I generally always, anytime I'm adding, anytime a project is dried up, like over 24 hours, and I'm going to go add new clay to it, whether it's whatever, anything. I'm doing a face, I'm going to add some more detail, and I'm going to bring some more clay on. I always throw some paste on first to help tack it up. And sometimes, if I think my paste is too thin, I will just go ahead and grab some of the wood glue from the Titebond 2 and just add a little bit of water to it. That way it's still kind of like, it's a little more sticky, right, than my paste is. And I'll do that to help make sure I get a good adhesion. I haven't had my faces droop off yet. That doesn't mean it won't happen. But as of yet, it hasn't happened. He's looking pretty cool. So he's not looking too bad. This wash is pretty thin, so it looks pretty bright when it first goes on, and then when it dries, it kind of calms down a little bit. That's the only downside to the wash, is waiting for it to dry up a bit so you can kind of see how it looks. But I believe this is going to be passable. So I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot more with the orange. I've got a little extra right here in the center, and I don't want that. I want that to go away, so I'm going to use a paper towel and pull that out. See, when I did the wash this time using the littler brush, I stayed away from these areas. So as you can see on the video, it gives you a little bit of a gradient, which is kind of what you want. So them pumpkin ridges stand out. It may not even need, I don't know, this face looks like it needs, yeah, this face needs just a little bit of black wash down the centers of those. So that's what we're going to do. Other than that, I think yeah, not too bad, not too shabby. Okay, I'm missing chat. Fell off. Lori Johnson. Thank you, Mo. I thought I did. Wasn't sure if I did. Lupin. I added too much drywall to the clay I made tonight. Hopefully it'll be okay. Yeah, you probably, is it super mushy right now? If it's super mushy, you could always add a little more TP to it, or you can add a little more flour to it a little bit too. Oh, so you went with doing the sawdust, the clay, the wood clay. Right on. Yeah, a little too heavy. I can't remember when I did. I can't remember when I did the pumpkin. I can't remember how. If I did the face like this, or if I had like carved it out. Man, I don't remember how I did that. It's been a while. All right, we're going to quit talking for a moment. Give me your paint. And I want to add some black to this face again. Now that it's got orange all in it, it doesn't look very pretty. And then we'll even do a light little wash with the black here real quick. Let's look for a smaller brush. That should work. If it's workable, looping right on, you can get away with it. And then if I got sometimes a little too sticky, I always said, I keep a bowl of water with me. And if I keep my hands wet, because I've had them sometimes too where it's just been a little sticky. Like I got away from measuring all the time, and then I just try to eyeball it, and I always kind of screw myself up every once in a while. So I'll keep. If you keep your hands wet, it'll help. It'll help keep that clay from sticking to you, and you'll be able to get it where you want it to be versus it going everywhere else. Let's get in here. Repaint this black. Stay with me. I'm going to try to get us all the way through this. Painting's almost done, and then we'll do the handle. I'm trying to completely remember how I did things. It's been years. I have a pretty good idea how I did it. I should have went back and watched my own video this last weekend, but I was doing other stuff, and I was working on another project for a YouTube video. Did I pull that out of the camera? I'm sorry. I have a bad habit of moving my projects out of the camera's view while I'm doing this type of stuff. Where's my one really good? There it is. There she is. Let's use you. No, I need to get, before I get any further, I got a little, we got a straggler of wet orange paint in here. Let's get him out. So I had some, see that? Can you see that? Focus! Had a little blob of wet orange paint in there. So I just took a paper towel and soaked it out. And you could do all kinds of like yeah, you could do the snowman type deal with this. I mean, you could do whatever, vampire heads. You could do, you know, Frankenstein heads or whatever. Just use this same concept, and you're just going to put your paper clay on the outside and sculpt whatever you want to sculpt. How's that look? Are we black again? Yeah, see, that doesn't look too bad. Oh, I got to look at that. There's an orange spot. Where's that at? I can see it in the camera for show. Let's get that right there. We want that to look nice and black. But we're black on the eyes again. The mouth is black all the way back around. It's not looking too bad. We got some separation here. I think I'm going to let this dry. Now I'm still going to do, I'm going to hit that just a little bit. We're going to make a little bitty black wash here. And just going to tickle. Just going to tickle the inside there with a little bit of black paint. Evil mutant testicles. Nice. Yeah, dude, definitely get a dedicated set. I had to get a dedicated set because Carrie got tired of me using the ones we cook with. So I had to get a dedicated set. And at one point in time, I had a dedicated, not a blender, but whatever, mixer, hand mixer to use for this stuff. And then I burned it up. Oop. And then I have not bought a new one and then proceeded to use Carrie's every single time I make clay. So I always wash it up real good, but I'm sure she'd probably be much happier if I just bought her a new mixer and then just kept that one for myself. Dollar Tree, you're right. Dollar Tree does generally have decent measuring cups, especially for this type of junk. I've always kept stuff on the cheap side, but I'll tell you what, one thing I did spent a little money on a little paintbrush the other day that had a nice sharp teeny tiny point when I was painting those snowmen, because I had made them relatively small and I was painting the little bits of coal in their face, and I think that was money well spent. That paintbrush made a difference. Yeah, see, I've done anytime I went through 2 or 3 hand mixers, but I always bought cheap ones and I burn them up every single time. And the hand mixer that we got that's Carrie's, it's not super expensive, but it's pretty stout. And it's held up to several things I've done. Just a little tickle of this is all I'm really trying to do. Just enough to now when it dries, that center is just a little bit darker. I've also come up with some ideas for some clays, like some cardboard clays and stuff. I got to buy a couple things because I think it could be trying to come up with a clay that's pretty gosh darn it, it's the word I'm looking for. Fine. Like doesn't have a bunch of big thick fibers in it. I've got some ideas and I think could really work. So I've got a couple things I got to purchase, I think, to make that happen. And we're going to give that a try in the future. So cool. Next class, people were down for a pumpkin spider. So if everybody's down for that, that might be what I do. I think I'll put a deal out on, if all you guys that are coming to the class, I hope you're following the little community tab. The community tab on YouTube is kind of like Facebook in a way. So like if you follow me and I put one post up, it should show up in your feed at some point in time. But if it doesn't, if you just go to the channel and kind of click on that community tab every once in a while, it'll see if there's any updates. So that's how I'm going to try to do, like, get everybody's attention on what they want to do, what do you want to do, you know, that type of thing. I'm going to do that to that community tab. So keep an eye out on that community tab for different things. Garage sales, yeah, absolutely. Laura, you're correct. Homemade cold porcelain, I absolutely have. I did it with, yeah, glue, cornstarch, and I thought it was something else. The recipe I did for cold porcelain, I had to cook, and the werewolf that I made, all the teeth in the werewolf and the claws that were on his feet and his hands on that big werewolf, all of that was cold porcelain. And I think I still got some cold porcelain teeth that I made just down in here. And I can't remember what other I used a few of those teeth. No, yeah, a couple different deals. I can't remember what they were. I thought I was going to say the Evil Joker, but that wasn't cold porcelain on that thing. Okay, cool. Boom, here we are. Paint, look at that. We're pretty much done. I mean, it looks good enough. It's passable. Is it as highlighted as the other style paint that I do that you see in the videos? No. You know, where you just do this gradient from darker to light. But it's very passable. It's very quick, and especially if it's a jack-o'-lantern sitting outside, whatever, it's going to look like a jack-o'-lantern. It looks for like a good little, I mean, that's a pumpkin, right? It's quick, it's easy. That wasn't too hard to do. This paint job I'm going to call done. I might seal this, I might not. You guys might take yours after this dries up. You could spray it with a rattle can clear, and if you went with a matte or even an eggshell or whatever, then you could come back with even some black or whatever and really slop that stuff on and wipe it back off. And you use either a damp paper towel to wipe all that back off, or if you use like a rag and a little bit of alcohol on a rag and wipe that stuff off, you can kind of do the same things pretty fast and then you can add some more stuff to it. So now we're going to make the handle. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, see, Carrie, I don't remember. I don't remember everything that went into that cold porcelain recipe. I knew it was a couple things, and I cooked it on the stove. And I remember there was, like, I saw recipes in the microwave too, but the one I did, I cooked on the stove. I had a pot, an old nasty pot, and that thing's gone now, but I used it and cooked it on the stove. So your one that you didn't cook shrank. See, even the one that I cooked didn't seem like it shrank much at all. Like I was impressed that the cold porcelain shrank less than a lot of my paper clay. Sorry, I'm off track. I'm looking at the looking at chat. You guys got a conversation going on over there. I'm just trying to see what's in and put my 2 cents in, and then no one. We're not doing anything. Gotta quit getting distracted. Let's make a handle. You're gonna have to have, if you're with me right now and you're building along, you need a hot glue gun and some jute twine. Probably scissors would be good. All those different things would be good. Let's put this stuff back up. Don't need paints anymore. So you could even do some yellow highlights over the top of that too. Bring some of that out if you wanted. The sky is the limit. You can put as much detail into it as possible. I'm just telling you, that's a fast, quick, easy way to paint. Okay, need a drink. Woo! And we're back at it. All right, we got scissors. I got scissors. Good deal. So to judge this, man, you guys can't. All I'm going to do is kind of I'm just going to eyeball it, right, on how much I think needs to be for a handle. So we're going to cut this off right about here. Now, do I need to... If I'm working right here in the center of this, you guys can see that, right? I know this jute twine's hard to see, and this camera isn't the best. But I want to find the center of this. Center's right there. Let's get a little piece of tape. Okay, we're going to go with a little bit of tape here. I want to just put some things so I know where center is, because we're going to put our little handle on this before we put it to the pumpkin. So when I'm talking about the handle, what I'm referring to is this little extra bit of jute twine that's kind of in the middle right here. This is pretty easy too. And all I really did was, you'll see, I hot glue one in and then we just start wrapping twine around it. And I'm going to make some stopping points on here too, so I can just keep myself in check. This tape you're putting on, you could honestly leave it on, because we're getting ready to cover it all up with twine anyway. I don't know if you guys could see any of that. Anyway, all I'm doing, this is a center point, so I know where center is, and this is going to be a leading edge I'm going to start from, and I'm going to go ahead and mark off another one over here away from the center point. That way, I got this right about in the middle. And I don't know, I could have made it a little bit longer, but yeah, whatever. At this point in time, no one's going to use this as a basket. I'm just teaching. Where are we at? Where are we at? Yes, so snap. Type. As Lupin just pointed out, if you're doing this to mark your deals, if you had, which would have been even easier, if you got a good old Sharpie, you could have come in here and said, oh, hey, there's my middle point. This is where I want to start it from, you know. This is where I want to end it. But I've been a lot faster than what I was doing. Just tape was in front of me. My brain just kind of works like that sometimes. There are sometimes I think I make things harder than they need to be. I don't have I can't tell you a length that I just did. I just pulled out quite a little bit of jute twine. I don't know if you can really see that. I think it's longer. Yeah, it's longer than what we already got. Because as we wrap it around, we're going to lose. That's going to shrink up. And this may be too excessive. I don't know. I'd rather have more that I can cut off than not have enough when I get into this and realize I should have had more. If that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. Yeah, just about yay much. Oh, you totally can, dude. Oh, it's not down here. There is a short video on the channel on what do I call that thing? A snow crow, or was a snowman that I did as a scarecrow, but I made a little jute twine hat. And if you soak your jute twine in like this, you can do things with dry. It dries real hard, especially if you're using Titebond 2 and water. But I also took and unraveled all these and got real fine pieces of jute twine and just pasted over, and that's how I made that. That's how I made that hat on that little guy look like basically straw. Super cool. You can do a lot of stuff with jute twine. I'm gonna add a little hot glue here. Maybe. Come on, you're plugged in. Woo, that's hot. I already burnt my other thumb pretty bad today. I don't need to burn any. Oh crap! Anything else? Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that there's a band-aid on my hand, but I burnt the crap out of my fingers today. Okay, I tacked a little bit of glue down there to start this. As I'm pulling it around, it's going to be hard to see, but this is kind of coming up right in here. I'm going to hit this with a little more glue. I'm going to come right over the top of that, and then I'm just going to come right next to it and kind of wrap this tight. Every once in a while, I'm going to stop. I'm going to add a little glue as I'm doing it, so I'm kind of adding glue as I go just to hold the jute twine into place so it doesn't try to unravel later on. And all I'm doing, my fingers you can't see, I'm just wrapping this tight. Each roll right up against itself. I may even come back. If you come back across again, I mean, all you're going to do is thicken your handle up. But now I'm going to go ahead and add a little more glue here. So when I come around with this wrap, it'll hold into place. If you have any kind of arthritis in your hands whatsoever, in your fingers, when you're wrapping this stuff tight like this, you're going to feel it. I used to not think that I didn't have anything like that in my hands, but lately, when I've been working on stuff, like I was working on this project currently for the next just standard YouTube video. And I was making these legs, and I was wrapping it pretty tight and having to hold on to it and wrapping the newspaper pretty tight. And man, my fingers really hands got the cramping real bad. Fingers got the cramping real bad. No fun. Guess I'm just getting old. If you're chatting and asking questions, keep just asking those questions. I'm not looking up at the moment. I'm really fixated on this. Once I kind of get through this, I'll jump back up there and have a look. See what's going on. And I hope you guys are liking these build alongs. I hope you guys are learning some things. Always ask questions during this. I'll try to answer all your questions, and if I can't answer it, I'll at least lie about it. No. If I don't know the answer, I will tell you that. Linda's ahead of the game. She made her handle earlier. Yeah, you burnt yourself. Yeah, I always tend to. I tend to burn my hand on glue. And honestly, do I want to come back? You know what? I got enough twine here that I'm going to come back across the top. Do I need to? No. Will it make it look like a thicker handle? Absolutely. Hey, Robin. Hey, better late than never. So far, you haven't missed anything at all except we completely painted the pumpkin. right now, we are. Right now, I'm making the handle. Linda, she already made her handle earlier today, so she is ahead of the game. I think it's probably worth coming back around for a second go on this. Just to thicken this up a little bit. Ooh, that burnt. I guess they call it hot glue for a reason. They don't call it warm glue. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. It's kind of thud sounding, almost sounds like a helicopter. It's my dog upstairs scratching. He's scratching so hard it's shaking the house, and I can really hear it down here. You know, I never thought of that. That might be a good idea, those silicone finger things. I might have to try that. Awesome, Kim. We'll see you. We'll be doing another live class pretty soon. I only plan on taking probably next Monday off, and then starting the Monday after that. Right, yeah, it's the spy balloon. Okay, I'm going to cut this off right here. I'm going to tuck a little hot glue in on the bottom of this, burn my fingers one more time, smash this down into place. And it's going to need some hot glue in this. Get in here. Come on, baby. And we got a handle. So not too special. They don't look, but you know what? They look vintage. I like them. I like them, and they're easy. And I've got glue all over my fingers. Now my holes are a little small, so to cheat this, I'm going to squirt a little glue inside the fibers of that jute twine, and then I just rounded it together. So you can burn your fingers doing this. The jute twine wants to separate. I shoved the nozzle of hot glue in there. I shoved a little hot glue just down on the tip, twisted it together, and it gets the hot glue to hold the end of the jute twine together so it doesn't fray apart. Works great, especially when you're getting ready to feed it through a hole or something like that, or if you don't want your jute twine to come apart. But you can't burn your fingers. Just an FYI. I told you to do it, but I didn't tell you to do it. You saw me do it, but I didn't say you should do it. So if you do it and you burn your fingers, that's on you, not me. Just so you know. Public safety announcement. Hot glue is hot. Look at this. This project's almost done, and we're under 2 hours. So I just pulled that through the hole there. I'm going to just basically tie a knot at the very end of this jute twine. I'm going to put a little hot glue. Focus when I'm going to put a little hot glue on here on the knot itself so it holds together. And then I'm going to put a little hot glue right here on the back and pull this through and let it stick to the inside of our basket. I'm generally not a big hot glue fan, especially for projects that we make in the future or whatever that go outside, things like that, because a lot of time hot glue, well, at least because this isn't industrial hot glue or anything, so if it gets really hot wherever you're storing stuff in your garage or whatever, hot glue comes, let's go. But if you're talking about like this jute twine or on a piece of clothing or whatever, it works pretty good because it gets in on the fibers. So I threw a little hot glue. Let's see if you guys can. Let's see if we can get in here. Can we see in? Maybe change the angle. Which way? That way. Oh my gosh, how? Oh, right there. There we go. So I just put a little hot glue on the back side of that, pulled it in. We just kind of glued it to the inside there. It's going to hold it in place. We're going to repeat that same process right over here. And as long as I tie these fairly close to the same point, we should be pretty close to center. Osha, I never heard of them. Don't know. Is that some kind of company out of France? And we're going to do the same thing here. Do I have close? That looks close to the same. Boy, I hope I guessed this right. If I guess this right, this handle's going to be pretty close to the middle. Let's see how I did. We're going to find out here pretty soon. Just throw a little hot glue on this. Ooh. Boom. Bam. Oh, look at that. Let's see. That's pretty close. I mean, I'm going to have to say that's pretty close to center. He's hanging just about straight. And that's almost perfect. But he's done. We got our handle. Can't really, you can see the handle. There we go. Sweet. Look at that. What an easy project. I mean, besides us waiting for Mondays or whatever to come around to do these lives, I mean, you could do these things pretty quick. You could knock these out in less than a week. It's just your drying time. Once you do the clay, it's just the drying time. However fast you can get it to dry up, the quicker you can make these things. And I don't know, I was going to tell you guys, but I didn't. If you want to cheat this and make this dry a little bit quicker, you can take and put your oven at like 275 degrees, get a rack in the middle of the oven, and then you can take this paper clay and stuff and you can slide it into your oven. You can bake it for an hour or so, bring it back out. It'll still feel kind of soft or whatever. And then by the time it cools back down, it'll speed up the drying process. So you can do it that way. If you have a dehumidifier at the house or you put it in the same room with your project, the dehumidifier will really increase the speed time on them. So if you're fighting speed times, dehumidifiers you can do, the oven you can do a little bit. You got to keep an eye on it because I had a project once swell up in the oven. So you got to kind of keep your eyes on it. I would never put, let me say this. Here, let's move this. Hello, I'm back. Let me say this way. If I'm doing an armature and it's a balloon or a beach ball or anything else like that, and I'm doing the strip mache and I'm waiting for it to dry, would not put that in the oven. Because more than likely the balloon or ball is going to expand and pop. So I wouldn't do that. I would let that dry naturally. Or if you have like I said, if you got a dehumidifier you can put in the room and then put a fan and blow right on it, it'll dry out pretty quick as well. I gotta put my glasses on so I can read. Tips for storage to keep from getting damaged. This guy just sits on that shelf over there. What a mess. My shelf's a mess. This just sits on my shelf over there all the time. It doesn't really have any problem. The cats have knocked it off a few times from up there. It still hasn't cracked and stuff. Storing my other stuff, my other pumpkins, literally in my garage. I store it up on top. I used to always put them all in a tote, like big plastic totes or whatever. And then I got to where I was kind of cramming some down, and the garage get real hot in the summertime. It kind of deformed a little bit, so I quit doing that. In the past 2 years, my big pumpkins, I've actually just stored them like basically like free open in the open air up in the top of the garage, and they've done really well. I haven't had any problems with them. Haven't had any squirrels get in there and chew them up or anything like that. Haven't had any mice get in there and chew them up. But I got a lot of cats around here too, so the mice don't last long that show up around here. The cats are always bringing them to the house, showing me that they've caught them. So if you got a lot of mice or if you got squirrels that can get in, you might not want to leave. So I would say go storage bin route and at least try to make sure that you're not cramming a bunch in so they don't smash on top of each other. It may take a few storage bins to do that. Make sure just the biggest thing with any of this stuff that's mache wise, don't let it be in an area that's got a lot of moisture in the air or dampness and dark, because even sealed up and it's damp, moist, and dark, you really run the risk of them molding. Even if they've dried completely out before you sealed them and painted them, you store them in conditions like that, they will wind up molding. Just like whatever. If you guys watch the videos of me doing setting up for Halloween this year, I pulled one of my totes out, and I don't know how it happened, but one of the totes that had some older pumpkins in them, they were older pumpkins. I had got water or something got inside, and maybe I don't know, maybe a pumpkin was wet or something when I don't know, but when I opened it up, there were 6 pumpkins in there. Of course, they were all older pumpkins, but man, they were growing hair. They had so much mold on them. So that's tips for that. Hopefully that helped. I don't know, maybe. Hey Zeno, see you, man. Peace. If no one else has any questions at the moment, all I ask, all you guys that are building along and have built along, send me your final product picture. Send it to unhingedprops@gmail.com. That way I can kind of get everything together and I can show your guys' stuff off in a very near future video. I am voting for, and I'm going to put it up in the community tab, that the next class is a smaller spider pumpkin, not a big one, but a smaller one that we can all handle and do. If everybody's down for doing a spider pumpkin, they're fun. We'll be basically doing a pumpkin again and adding some more stuff to it. So if we do, I'm kind of keeps you guys in the realm of what we've done, but they're neat. You can have a lot of fun with them, and they're cool looking when they're finished. So I think that's probably a good project to do. I'm going to lean towards that. So I'm not going to start that next Monday. So we'll take next Monday off. That way we got plenty of time to get a supply list together and get you guys the supply lists, and you guys can get all your stuff. So we would basically start the next live, Monday Night Live, not next week, but the week after. Now, I could do another Monday Night Live next week just for questions. If you guys want to get on here and talk and BS, I can do that too. If you guys are down for that, let me know. If not, we'll wait for class stuff and do it the next time. And now I'm just rambling. What do we got later, Zeno? Cool. Thanks for the stream. Lupin, if the next week or two, because I know some of you guys are redoing your stuff. So what? 2 weeks from now, if you guys will at least give me pictures in. And then like I said, I'm in the middle of filming another deal. But if you guys get me some pictures in the next 2 weeks, then I can put together another video just based off of what you guys did in class and stuff. And so I'll shoot that out for YouTube, and everybody can see that. So if you send me pictures, I'm going to put it on YouTube and the whole world's going to see them. I just want to show off what you guys have done. Awesome, Linda. Hey, you'll get the color down. Just play with it. And even this one, I could do more of the color on this one too. But I'm not going to. But you know what I am going to do? I am going to seal this with a matte spray paint later on, just to kind of set that color in there. Awesome, Ginger. I'm looking forward to that class too. I'm glad. Hope you guys are too. Sounds great. I work better with the deadline. Okay, so Lupin, I need pictures in 2 weeks from now, all the way through, from just the ball, just your balls. I want to picture your balls, all the way to clay being on here, all the way to uh, it being painted. So I can throw all that stuff together. Guys, I'm out. Look at this. We're just under 2 hours. I can go relax for a little bit. You guys can go relax for a little bit. And I'll see you all on the next one. Thanks for being here. Spider Pumpkin. Be looking forward to it. And follow the community tab because I'll put some updates in there. See you guys later.